Let's go to Europe now, and this is BP. So we could have talked about Royal Dutch Shell, but we're going to talk about British Petroleum. It is a big and established player. Remember, it began its life in Iran because that's where they developed the Anglo-Iranian oil fields. But they spent the first 50 years of their life basically getting nationalized.
Yeah.
The second part of the business trajectory is when they bought their way into the US market with Amoco and the other one, which was Arco. They picked up, however, oil fields in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's when the Deepwater Horizon disaster happened.
And then they're still paying that off.
Well, let's talk about it in terms of market cap. We've got a $97.7 billion of market cap, which is, hang on, 97.7 billion pounds, I believe, which translates to about $128 billion. The price earnings ratio, 33.82, dividend yield of 7.62, so listed in London.
Yeah.
But there again is a BP ADR, which trades in New York.
But I mean, it's a global company, and this share price, as we'll see now, is actually done quite well.
So it recovers quite nicely. The Deepwater Horizon incident was in 2010.
Yeah.
But in the last 5 years, what you can see is it reacting perhaps to, just ongoing margin improvement.
Yeah. But look, I mean, this was a catastrophe. I remember it was one of the biggest disasters ever, and was also a complete disaster for the company. They could not have handled it worse.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's behind them now.
They sold off a lot of assets into Alia to raise money in order to settle those various claims.
But when you read their corporate reports and their presentations and their results announcement, everything is disciplined growth, cash flow throughout the whole presentation.
Which is obviously reassuring and a positive.
But it's the same for all the companies. Of course, as I said, in 3 years' time, you may be good for shareholders, but not so good for consumers, because there is no capex.
If you own a company that has this happen to it? Or do you buy a company after a disaster like this? Because let's put the share chart back up again. The all-time high was like £7.12.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at £4.93.
Look, if you're brave enough, you can never get the timing right, but if you're brave enough as an investor, you buy these resource-related companies when they are currently having a near-death experience, because you know there's still demand.
Yeah.
You know the world hasn't changed and no one's got a car anymore.
Yeah.
There's still demand, so that's when you buy it, but you can buy 2 years too early. Eventually it pays off. I mean, if you bought Kumba at any time in the last 5 years, you're actually making money now.
Yeah.
But it's a difficult decision.
The thing with BP, though, is that, like I said before, they own big oil fields in Iran. Those got nationalized by the Ayatollahs. They own big fields in Kuwait. Those also got nationalized. They were in Nigeria. Those got nationalized too. They now at least have assets mostly in the Gulf of Mexico.
And nationalization seems a little bit of a thing of the past now.
So now you can sail forward. And they've got good production assets. They've got a brilliant distribution network around the world. They've got
it's a fully integrated upstream, downstream, the whole lot. But still, once again, volumes are flat to slightly negative.
Yeah.
And they're just not spending the capex because they have this massive focus on disciplined growth, cash flow generation. I mean, their cash flow generation is also astonishing. I mean, mining companies and oil companies have never in recorded history, in real terms, generated as much free cash flow as what they're doing now, because they've halved their capex and halved it again and halved it again.
Yeah. One amusing side issue about BP is that at some point in their corporate past, like 2007, they rebranded the company and called it Beyond Petroleum.
Yeah.
And they changed the logo. But then in about 2012, they decided, let's go back to petroleum. So that is really where the focus of the business is.
I think you've got to watch out any company that changes their name and logo, and especially if they put pastel colors into it, then just watch out, something's going wrong.
Okay. Hot or not? We're not hot on this one. Similar in a way to the other one.
Same to the others, yeah. Okay.